Hello again, and for today, we are going to finally celebrate on this channel a full year of creating content. And let me tell you, I am very excited to be celebrating this pedigree, even at my small stature of 100 subscribers. I feel more accomplished in this 1 year than I think I would have been had I started earlier. Personally, I feel that like my points are always really good, even if my production value could be completely increased. And yet I remain optimistic. So I'm going to get into some points that I would like to highlight in this 1 year update on content creation. I am very grateful to have gotten one subscriber on Subscribestar, despite me not advertising it at all, despite that person leaving, and that's why you didn't see it in this video and the video previously. It's really cool that I was able to at least make my one mark on this channel financially. Really cool, you know, especially as YouTube keeps pushing the barrier to entry for monetization further and further away, so that smaller creators have to struggle and suffer under this ridiculously oppressive algorithm that does not promote content. It promotes fucking corporate entertainment. And yet, I still somehow got financial sponsorship with my tiny reach. So I really have to note that. And, you know, I understand, Waterfall person, if things probably got rough for you, but it was really fucking awesome of you to pay at the $5 level for at least 2 months. And hopefully when I get more, if I get more ever, I could just get that money, and the first thing I will be buying with the $50 will be a microphone for my phone and an audio jack to be able to direct it at myself, so that way I can actually sound great in this raw commentary format and not constantly having to adjust things and shit, because audio editing sucks. But anywho, I am going to move on from this one point. My next point is the fire has not stopped since last June. It constantly burns. You know, whenever I feel like kind of defeated, I go through my commentaries that I want to do, I pick one, and bing bang boom, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then this is just a constantly uplifting source of positivity in my life to talk about these issues, the things in entertainment, the things in politics. And it really helps me to be able to say all this stuff that's on my mind throughout the weeks. And, you know, it just really goes to show that a lot of these YouTubers who face burnout really aren't in it for the validation that creating content gives them. They're in it for the money or the fame. And, you know, you can't start from a place of that much ego doing this shit. You know, I really had to break down last year when I finally faced the music and made my first commentary, and I didn't know what to really say before then. And then in that moment, I just recorded that commentary as I was driving in my car, and I just felt whole. I felt so much good. And each and every time I go to sit down and record a commentary, it just comes on. It just switches on. You know, sometimes I have to do 2 or 3 starts before I get it right, and then everything just works out in the end. And to me, that's what these kind of things should be. Even if I move towards content with higher production value and, you know, actual video footage that I create myself, this is what I always want to feel every time I complete a commentary. And so the fact that the fire hasn't stopped burning since last June goes to show that I think I can maintain this. And in a year's time, I will try to update everybody as to the state of the channel and how I feel on things, because I like to use this as a way of keeping myself accountable to my fans, to the people watching, and because I think it's good for me to talk about this kind of stuff with you guys openly. Now, the thing I've learned throughout this entire year of creating content is that it's all about when it's posted. And what do I mean by this? Well, specifically, you'll see a lot of commentaries that don't get as many views as others. This is just the way of the beast, in that you have to constantly chase an algorithm on YouTube.com in order to be successful, and you can't have your own takes, you can't do your own thing. It's really hard if you do your own thing. Believe me, I've been doing my own thing. This is why I have covered things like the Groiper Wars. This is why I spent most of December just trying to do all kinds of Star Wars content that didn't really end up working out in the end, but I still feel validated because that motherfucking J.J. Abrams commentary, I don't know if it's just the clickbait nature of that headline or of that title, but it constantly gets views out of nowhere. Like, I just keep seeing it rise and rise and rise. And I really thought that commentary through when I did it, but at the same time, I'm just amazed every time someone stumbles onto it. So in the future, I might get a little more clickbaity with the titles. I apologize, but again, if I'm going to make a following on this channel, I have to play the game a little bit. And I know it's a bit of a compromise, but I think it's a worthy compromise to make so that I can draw people into my more headier commentaries, my more introspective commentaries, ones that I actually really like doing, even though they don't get any views, like the why I think YouTube will win the streaming wars in the end. You know, all this stuff that gets glossed over by the algorithm is the stuff I really like making. And unfortunately, I think I might actually start moving some of that shit over to BitChute. I know when it comes to talking about people, it has to go to BitChute. That's why I did the Internet Morality Police commentary only on BitChute, because I knew it would have been flagged on YouTube based on the creator-on-creator harassment standards. I don't really care that it's just audio. If they pick it up that I said Eric from Internet Comment Etiquette is a heated gamer F-word, then it would be over. It would be fucking over, because I did. And I didn't pull any punches like I'm doing right now because I want this video to be on YouTube. So, sorry about that. And I've said this before, but despite all of the obstacles, I am so optimistic about this channel's future. Every week I am impressed that people are still coming, people are still watching. Lots of the comment section denizens like Omio Rahman and others who are escaping my memory right now just come in and give their piece here and there. And it's been really awesome to try and cultivate an audience. You know, this is my first time really doing this, and they didn't really teach that kind of shit in film school. You know, the audience is supposed to just flock to the cinemas, and look at that shit now. So doing this, I think, will really benefit me in the future if my name gets out there, like my real name. I think even with all of the probable political discrimination that I will face, I don't give a shit, because these are things that I consider part of my values, and some of these beliefs and some of these statements. And if you have a fucking problem with that, why don't you talk to me instead of trying to ruin my life? Because let me tell you, if there are enough people whose lives are ruined because of their opinions, well, guess what? Next, they're going to come after you physically. So you better watch yourself there, bucko. So I think that's going to wrap it up for this commentary. I'm really positive about the future, even with all of the obstacles of the algorithm and the shadow banning and whatever. I don't really know that I am yet, but I do know that, you know, the algorithm picks lots of other channels before my own. And that's just something I'm going to have to deal with for right now, and I just have to constantly work through it in order to cultivate an audience. You know, this is part of the problem of YouTube, but it's also the thing that builds a good work ethic on this website. So I'll just deal with it. I think it's a negative and a positive, and that's really all I got to say on that. So to all of my enemies who want me to fail, who want me to go away and stop making content, well, you better tread lightly, because this train is just going to keep on rolling.